Good evening, folks. I'm John Lanning with IPMS for Crook, and I'm back with not just one, but two inbox reviews. But we're doing this differently. We're not just going to do an inbox review of the two kits. We're going to do basically the history of a particular model kit in 72nd scale. I'm talking about the Mirage 2000. And the reason why is because this review and basically this historical look at the moldings for the 72nd scale Mirage, it shows you the evolution that the kit or the plane itself has gone through since the first kit came out in 1979 until, well, there are two brand new kits. One came out this year, one more is due to be released next month. So we're going to get started not just with the new kits, we're going to get started with the older kits. Now, about the plane itself, the Mirage 2000. Well, it was developed back in the 1970s as a replacement for the world famous Mirage 3. The Mirage 3 is France's most successful jet aircraft ever built, and they needed to find a replacement for it. The Mirage 2000 is just continuation of the Mirage family series, starting with the Mirage 3, the Mirage 4 nuclear bomber, the Mirage 5 strike aircraft, the Mirage F1, now the Mirage 2000. Unfortunately, the Mirage family is pretty much coming to an end. The Mirage 2000s are going to be replaced by Rafales, and it's already begun. So anyway, the Mirage 2000 in its own right is rather successful as an export market. It's been marketed to about 8 different countries: Peru, India, Greece, Taiwan, Qatar, and we'll go into depth about those here shortly. We'll start with the main aircraft, which is the Mirage 2000C, which is the Interceptor. The French used it up until recently. It's been replaced by the Rafale, but it's been exported, and most of the export successes are under the Mirage 2000C, although they're labeled differently. For instance, the Mirage 2000P, which is exported to Peru, the Mirage 2000 EAD, which is exported to United Arab Emirates. India's got the Mirage 2000H. The Greece has got the Mirage 2000 EG. Egypt got the EM. And Qatar got the EDA. Now, there are some slight differences. The Mirage 2000C was specifically made to be an interceptor, although some of the other countries also use it, and it's got a secondary strike mode on it. Greece is the only country that I am aware of that actually operates theirs in an anti-ship mode with a pair of AIM-39 exocet missiles. So far, I've been looking around the net to see if anybody else actually carry them. My understanding is that the aircraft do have the ability, but most of them don't use their aircraft in that particular way, except for the Greeks. Now, you have the Mirage 2000C, and that's most of the operators. Then you got the Mirage 2000-5. The -5 has got a much better radar, an RDY radar that replaces the RDI. There are some changes specifically in the nose of the aircraft, and I will show you one particular model kit got that correct. The RDY, the Mirage 2005, sorry, mostly was sold to Taiwan. Taiwan operates the 5 as the 5EI. Qatar has purchased the 5 EDA. And then there's the -9, which is some slight improvements in that. The -9 was exported to the United Arab Emirates. So anyway, other variants of the Mirage 2000B is the training version. Mirage 2000D is the strike version, and some of these Ds and Bs have been exported as well. Some of the operators that operate the Cs. And then Mirage 2000N, which is the nuclear bomber that uses the ASMP missile. And the Mirage 2000N replaced the Mirage 4 and the nuclear strike roll back in the 1990s. Now, for most countries, like for instance for Brazil, they actually operated a squadron of Mirage 2000Cs, but only for a short time, about roughly 10 years. And it was to replace the Mirage 3s that were retired from service. The French have retired the Mirage 2000Cs as well, although they do operate the Ns. I mean the Ds. The Mirage 2000N has been replaced by the Mirage 2000D. Some countries do operate the Mirage 2000, but they are being replaced. I believe Qatar is replacing theirs with the Rafale. Egypt is getting their Rafale as well. Other countries have went and got improvements done on aircraft, such as Peru. And my understanding is India is actually looking to see if they can't buy more. And I guess we'll find out down the road if that happens. Now, when we're referring to the model kits, it has been kitted. There's 4 main kits of the Mirage in 72nd scale. The first one is the Heller kit, which was originally released in 1979 as the C. It's been reboxed by Airfix, Lodella testers, and Aeromaster in the Mirage 2000N. Now, they did rebox it and resell them as the B, D, and N series. Probably at this point, the only manufacturer that did that for the younger pre-5 versions. One of the reviews we'll be going is with the Aeromaster Mirage 2000N kit. I have that with me here. Mr. Kit did re-release the molds as well under their model with different markings. I know Brazil and a few others. I don't have the kit, didn't purchase it. The Heller kit has been re-released numerous times. In fact, it was re-released again by Heller earlier this year. So you'll be able to find it. Well, depending, being that Heller is not really exporting model kits from Europe right now, but you should be able to find the Heller mold either under the Airfix name, possibly the tester's name, out and about. Lodella, probably not as much. Aeromaster, that's a rare kit, and kind of hard to find, but we'll cover that shortly. The next model manufacturer to cover the Mirage is Italeri. Their first kit was released in the C version in 1992. It's been reboxed as well. It's in Revell, Bielik, Tamiya, and badly remolded CC Lee kits that came from China back in the late 90s. It also has been reboxed numerous times. It was released a couple years ago in a Desert Storm boxing under the Italeri name, of course. And yeah, that kit's readily available as well. The next model kit that was released is Modelsvit. Now, these are the new mold kits. Modelsvit released theirs about the Mirage 2000C about 2 years ago. It has been released, well, with newer parts as the Mirage 2000-5F. And they have announced that they're going to release the Mirage 2000D version next month. And the last model kit, the last mold, is the Dream Model kit, which was released last year. This year, under the Mirage 2000N. Now, whether Dream Model plans on releasing any other versions, I understand more likely probably a D version, being that the parts are available for it, and we'll go through that shortly. So anyway, I'm going to revert this over, and we're going to go through these model kits. We're going to look at the molds. I have, as I stated, the Aeromaster kit, which has the Heller moldings. I do have an Italeri kit. I've got 2 Italeri kits as well. I do have a Modelsvit kit, and I got the Dream Model kit. On top of that, I can actually tell you how the Heller kit, the Italeri kit, and the Modelsvit kit go together. I do have experience with those. Right now, I'm still working on a Modelsvit kit. I'm nearly done, and I would like to point out some things I found with that kit as well. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started with the older kits. Okay, here is the first kit. This is the Aeromaster kit with the Heller molds in it. This is the box here. This is a kit that was released back in 1996. This is the Mirage 2000N nuclear bomber. Anyway, open this up so you can tell the box has seen some much more better days. Now, basically, we're going to focus mostly on the kit itself. This is a multimedia kit. It comes with resin parts for the cockpit, the exhaust, and a few other items here. It also comes with a new canopy and some metal landing gear, photo etch, new decals, and an instruction sheet. Here's the instruction sheet for the kit here. Much different from what you'll see from the original Heller kit. We're not going to go through that right now. The decal sheet, the photo etch, mostly for the exhaust nozzles, the cockpit, a few other items. Here are the resin parts for the cockpit, the exhaust, the main landing gears. Metal landing struts. But here's the main kit. Now again, it's based off the Heller Mirage 2000N kit. And you will be able to tell the difference because the original Mirage 2000C, when it was released, had raised panel lines. Now, a few years later, when they released the Mirage 2000B and N versions, they put in a new set of fuselages, and the fuselages have recessed panel lines. So you'll have wings with raised paneling and fuselage with recessed panel lines. So here's the wing. I'm sorry, I'm not going to open the bag up. Here are the wings right here. And I don't know if you can probably really can't tell, but raised details along here. There's some sunken in details for the brakes and stuff like that, but most of the detail is raised. Here's the main fuel tanks. This is the Mirage 2000N specific sprue with the ASMT missile, long range fuel tanks, 2C cockpit. But you see the landing gear for the kit right here. And flip it over, exhaust, landing gear doors, intakes. And it also comes with the R550 missiles. And again, you know, the fuselage. I don't know if you can really tell here, but it's got recessed panel lines on here. Now, count, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 3 sprues. Not very many parts in the kit. Here's the canopy, the original canopy here. It's one piece, so you can't display it with it open. The cockpit, it's all flat detail, nothing to really get excited about. Here's the ejection seat. It looks like an ejection seat, just not like a very good one though. And this is the first kit. Again, the original kit was released in 1979. It's been boxed numerous times. Here's the other clear parts here. Main landing gear lights. There's something, I'm not sure what I think that might be, I don't know if that's a HUD or not, but instructions would be able to tell me when I look at them here. But this is the Heller kit. This is 1980s technology. You know, raised panel lines, cockpit that's not too highly detailed, but accurate representation when it comes to the body and all that. So there's your Heller kit. Let me box this up and we'll get to the next kit. Alright, this is the Italeri kit. This is released, the original kit for this one was released back in 1992. I believe the decal markings haven't really changed that much. So let's get the parts out right here. And decaling and painting instructions for the Greek version. There's two versions of this kit, French and Greek. So anyway, here's the decals, and here's the canopy. I put it in a plastic bag for protection because, well, it's a good idea. Because the canopy is on the loose here. Anyway, two-piece canopy. And there, I would think that's probably the hood on here as well. Okay. The instruction sheet, standard Italeri from 1990s and 2000s. Black and white. Okay, and here are the sprues, two sprues, straight gray. Okay, and you can tell right here, engraved panel lines. But there is one big major issue with this kit, and it has a lot to do with the nose. As you can see, they got engraved, it looks like access panels on the nose here, and I do believe it's on both sides. That is completely wrong. I don't know what they did. Maybe somebody mistaken the nose of a Mirage 5 for a Mirage 2000 and engraved the nose as such, but the engraving here is absolutely incorrect for the RDI radar. So you would have to, once you get this built, you would have to fill all these panel lines in and then rescribe the panel lines for the proper nose. So that's one big issue with this kit. Other issues, and again, this is 1990s technology, so there were some improvements made. Here's the cockpit. You can see some raised detail on the cockpit. It's not accurate. It's some of the switches, stuff like that, are overly oversized, but it's detailed nonetheless. And then here's the control panel. You might be able to see there or not. Also, some raised details. Again, it's not accurate. Some of it's oversized, but it's enough to have somebody paint and go ahead and do some dry brushing on to bring out some detail. Accurate? Not a chance on your life here. Here's the ejection seat. Again, not much really improvement. As with the Heller kit, at least they molded the belts in, but that's really about it. It's really anemic for an ejection seat. I don't see. Oh, there are the sides for the ejection seat right there. So, it's kind of an okay sort of thing. I mean, it doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look good either. And see here, the R530 missiles, which we'll have to put together, they look okay. They look decent. The R550 missiles, apparently they went on a slim fast diet because those are really anemic, especially the tails of these things. That's pretty horrible. Anyway, there's the main fuel tank here, and this version also came with Durandal. Of course, the Durandal is used on aircraft runways to crater runways to make them useless. Now, there's this right here. I've been looking around to find out what this is. I believe it might be some type of a flare chaff kind of thing that never really went into service. But I don't know what it is. It's never been described in instructions what it is. It might have been something that was a prototype but just never used actively. So you have that. This is the Italeri kit. Again, rebox by Revell, stuff like that. So that's your 1990s technology. Well, what does it have over the Heller kit? Well, the recessed panel lines is number one. Number two, they attempted to put some detail in the cockpit, so it doesn't look really bad and anemic. If you model it with the canopy down, it's probably not going to make too much of an issue. Probably not too much notice on the cockpit. But that's the 1990s technology. Okay. This is the other Italeri kit. This is the D version. This is a two-seat straight version. Just a quick go over here. Of course there'll be some changes, especially with the the fuselages here and weapons here. So 2-seat, 2-place cockpit. Yeah, again, I'm not sure you can tell here. Some raised detail inside the cockpit here, just like on the Mirage 2000C kit. Some of the weapons have changed here. I believe these are AS-15 missiles, but not too much of change in here. Just make sure you got some of the parts for the 2-seat version here. Again, same technology. The decal markings are for Taiwanese, Greek, and French. Same type of instruction sheet as the original one. So, all right, next up is the Modelsvit kit. Okay, as I stated, the first kit they released is a Mirage 2000C kit. Here's an instruction sheet for that. As I said, I've been working on it. I will show you what I've done so far here shortly. This was released about roughly 2 years ago. First, the original C kit. Now, I'll show you the sprues with it. Most of the sprues for the Mirage 2005 is pretty much the same with the Mirage 2000C. There are some differences, not major, with the new nose cone, new tail. Most of the stuff is the same. Anyway, the instructions here, and there'll be instructions with the Mirage 2005. The 5F version, they got 4 versions for French Air Force. The Mirage 2000C, as you can see, it's pretty much mostly color exploded views. Rather simple to keep track of. There was an issue. I will talk about that shortly. So, and then of course the paint schemes. Unlike with the Dash 5, it has multiple paint schemes for multiple countries. 2 French versions here. Third French version here. Indian Air Force, Mirage 2000H. And the Greek, Mirage 2000 EG. So, you have that. Now, here, we're going to open up the Dash 5, and we'll look at the molds on this as well. So, instruction sheet for the Dash 5. It's the same type we just saw with the Mirage 2000C. The only difference is the main color irradiations. These are for French Air Force aircraft. Actually look pretty cool, the shirt mount there. And that's the last one with the special markings on the tail for the Dash 5. So that, and here are the sprues. And you will see a huge leap between the Italeri and Heller kits and this one. And there are some major differences between all the kits here. So here's the canopy. It gives you 2 types of canopy, closed and open. Right here, a few more clear parts, landing gear lights, HUD, other lights for the aircraft here. Fuselage, okay. Engraved, all these engraved panel lines. Now, with the Italeri kit, the engraved lines they're really big. They're rather big, rather well defined. These things here, panel lines are much more thinner, much more in scale, much more accurate, and the nose is actually correct. This is where the panel line for the nose cone is, and it's straight. There's no strange dielectric panels or anything like that. Inside the canopy here, or inside the cockpit here, they actually have cockpit walls. that actually have stuff mounted on it. More realistic than you saw in the other kits here. Okay, here the upper portion of the wings. Again, recessed panel lines. Now, you can't see this. You can see it if you look up close at the model kit. It's not going to come out on camera. But on the wings here, there is some very faint riveting detail. Very faint. You have to look at it close to see it, but it's there, which is really cool. The only issue I have, though, is that if you're a hard painter, if you paint in multiple coverages and stuff like that, you will probably lose that faint detail. You won't lose the panel lines, but you'll probably lose that faint detail. So you do have to be kind of careful about that. To me, I mean, that's just extraordinary. I kind of like that detail in the wing sets. Here are the decals. Okay. And also, being this a 2020s kit, it's now multimedia. So, there's your photo etch. Most of it's for the cockpit, the ejection seat, some of the winglets for the fuel tanks, some of the winglets for the tail, and also antennas on the aircraft. And then it's got some it's got some painting masks for the cockpit and the wheels. And then this is just main wheel or the nose wheels. Oh wait, no, this is different. Wow, that's not supposed to happen. Oh well. They got a sprue for Mirage 2000 in. Weird. Oh, okay, Mirage 2005. Okay. Yeah, okay. This is a spruce for the cockpit for some of the changes between the 2000C and the 2005. So, new control panel. I guess it changes in the back here, new combing, stuff like that. The Mirage 2000C, it actually had an extra sprue with some extra nose landing gear, the wheels. So, I'm kind of surprised I didn't see it in here, but maybe it was just specific for the C. So anyway, you have that. Here's the next sprue here. This is sprue E. Long distance landing fuel tanks. And I do believe that's the 530 missiles, in which for the Dash 5 you probably will not be using these. Maybe the fuel tanks, maybe not. Here's the next sprue here. This is sprue F. The Matramica missiles. And then you got the 550 missiles, which you probably won't be using those either. Centerline fuel tank. Sprue N. It's another sprue N. Weird. Okay, well anyway, sprue N. This is mostly landing gear stuff. Of course, the main landing gear doors here. And detail for the landing bays for the fuselage. Now, when it comes to the fuselage landing bay detail, it's kind of unusual. It's the first time I ran into something like this, but a couple of these pieces here, and I don't know if you can see right here, but this is a folding spot right here on these right here. So what it is that when you're assembling those parts for the main landing gear doors, when you cut these out, you actually fold them. So instead of two pieces that mount 90 degrees, you actually fold this portion over 90 degrees. So instead of two parts, you're dealing with just one. And I will show you what the main landing gear bays look like shortly. But yeah, there's the main landing gear as well, or yeah, the main landing gear, the nose landing gear. So this is all mostly landing gear stuff here. And this is on sprue N. Sprue D. Sprue D is intake and exhaust stuff. There's your exhaust can right there. exhaust ring, which I like that because it gives better detail for the exhaust here. The engine exhaust face here. The ejection seat right here. And of course the intake, or the intakes here. Again, fine recessed panel lines. And then of course the under portion here, the under portion of the wings. The hinges for the elevators, and I'll show you. That's one cool thing about this kit here too. You can actually position the elevators straight or down for landing. I'll show you that shortly. For a few more spots for inside the landing gear doors or landing gear bays, refueling line, or the refueling probe. And then this is specific for the Mirage 2005. Because of the changes to the radar, they changed the nose. So the nose is slightly different from on the C. So here's the nose, and then here's the tail. Now, I don't know why they did this, but they split the nose. So you will have to do some sanding on the nose in order to get the panel line out, which that's kind of sad. But again, basically what you'll have to do is, you'd have to cut the original C nose off of the fuselage here, and graft the new nose on. So that's it for the sprues for this kit. And as I promised, here is the Mirage 2000C that I've been working on. Now, granted, the decals that I'm using for this kit are not from the Modelsvit kit. They're from the Italeri kit. They're for the United Arab Emirates Air Force. I'm painting this as a Mirage 2000 EDA from 1991. So, of course, the markings had to come from somewhere else since they weren't in a box here. But let me show you one thing here. I don't know if you'll be able to tell here or not. Let me see if I got my light would work on this, because the detail inside the cockpit, it is beautiful for this scale. I can't praise it enough. Okay, I've got a working flashlight here. You probably won't see it too well. Trust me on the description here. There we go. Now, I don't know if you can really see it here. There's a lot of raised detail, but a lot of the photo, there's some parts on the photo etch on there that goes into the cockpit. So, and not just with raised details that you'll see with the standard model kits, even with today's model kits here too. But you'll actually be able to build up like the throttle. On most kits there, the throttle might be a raised lump with a stick sticking out. Nope, the throttle's photo etch. And there's other items inside the cockpit that are photo etch as well that you'd have to glue alongside of the firewall. So that gives the much more detail to the cockpit than you would normally see. Of course, it's just like having Edward, an Edward photo etch kit for your cockpit for, like, I don't know, the Italeri Mirage 2000 or something like that. But that's exactly what we'll see if you were to build this kit, is the fact that you got more detail inside the cockpit than you normally would with a standard kit. So there's more photo etch for the cockpit, so it gives it much more bang for the buck, so to speak. As you notice, I haven't finished the ejection seat yet. It's not even mounted. I'm not even done with the cockpit yet. There's a few other things I need to do to it as well. Now, here's another thing that I've noticed with this kit that you won't find with any other kit. The ailerons. You kind of notice right there, I molded them down. Why? Because with this Modelsvit kit, it comes with 2 sets of hinges for these. So you can model them with them straight, as in flight, or model them down when it's sitting on the ground, because, well, that's their natural position when they're sitting on the ground. They're down. So you can model it with that if you have it sitting on the ground with the canopy open. And then, as I mentioned, with the cockpit, with the main landing gear base. I'm trying to get the word. There's some light, but it ain't too bright. But there are details inside the landing gear. And as I stated, some of the parts you actually have to fold for inside of the main landing gear base. So the main landing gear base are really, really detailed. Again, we're talking about 2020 technology. And, that's a huge improvement over what we've seen from the Italeri and the Heller kits. So there's the Mirage 2000C that I'm nearly done with. Here's the engine exhaust burner can. I'm nearly done with that too. You probably won't be able to see it, but maybe you can, I don't know. But there's the burner ring inside of there. Looks much better than having it just impressed in a single piece like the Italeri kit. Here's the Italeri kit. You see that? There's a nozzle, and you see how the engine's so far up forward there, it's almost sticking out. So it's nearly flush with, the turkey feathers, so it's not as realistic as this is. So that's another advantage with this kit as well. And you'll have the antennas here, really small antennas. You see that? Where my finger's at there. That's all photo etch. Antennas along the nose as well. I had an antenna down here. It broke off. I'll have to glue it back on. But this is nearly done. Hopefully when I stop dragging ass. I did some weathering on the underside here. When I stop dragging ass, I can probably get this finished. Hopefully next, probably a week or so. Hopefully I'll get this done soon. Anyway, that's the Modelsvit kit. Now, and the reason why I went with this right here, with this review with the Modelsvit kit, is they announced that they're going to release their Mirage 2000D kit next month. And the next kit that we were going to be covering is the Dream Model kit, Mirage 2000N. And there are some similarities and some differences, and we'll get with that shortly. Okay. One thing I failed to mention, and it was a pretty big bugaboo with me when it came to the instructions with this kit, with the models of the kit here. There were some marking issues. Now, for some reason why, and I'm glad that the kit provided the the sprue maps on here. This will be rather important. And the reason was because I noticed that I don't know whether it was short shooting or maybe mismarking, but on some of the frets here, some of these parts were not labeled correctly. For instance, if I remember correctly, there was one part marked 15, and if you look on the sprue, it was 5. So you do have to be kind of careful when you're putting this together. If you can't locate the part by the part number, at least this will provide, this map will provide where the part number would be at, or the part would be at. If the part ain't labeled correctly, the sprue map will tell you where it's at, so you can locate the part. Now, luckily enough, there's not a whole lot of, parts that you can actually mistake on this kit here. But there are some parts that do not belong on the dash, for this here, the Mirage 2000C, that belong on the other kit, like the Mirage 2005. So you do need to be aware of the parts, and make sure double check you got the proper part for cutting it off the sprue, because it might be mislabeled. Now, next up is our last and final kit. This is the Dream Model kit, the Mirage 2000N. Now, as I stated, this was recently released a few months ago, I do not know if they plan on releasing any more Mirage 2000 kits. I would think so, being that there's parts in here for the Mirage 2000D. So I would assume a deboxing will be coming sometime in the near future. So, and here's all your parts right here. Clear parts. Again, canopy can be modeled. Well, I'm sorry. The canopy for, you got this right here. I believe that's the rear canopy right here. It's actually molded closed. So, and this right here, I would think, because Dream Model does have a history of this, I would think you'd have to model it closed. I don't know if it has the raising mech to keep it open or not. We'll take a look at the instructions to see. But I kind of doubt it. I know with the F5 kits that came out with, they did not allow you to model it with the canopies open. And here are the instructions. This is going to be one issue with this kit as compared to, let's say, the Modelsvit kit, because the instructions here are more condensed. So instead of the booklet there with the sprue map and everything else, all you got is a bunch of exploded views on two sides. So, and it looks to me, yeah, it looks to me like here's that canopy that's separate there. There's no lifting mech, so, and it shows you that you model it with the canopy down. So, you got that right there. So anyway, that's the canopy. You have to mold it with it shut, or you can find a way to keep it open. Okay, now, this is error goodie bag. Apparently, some of the parts in here might have been short shot, so they provided extra parts. These are for the mica missiles, in which you will probably not need for the Mirage 2000N version. And that's going to be another thing to take a look at as well, because of course there's no place for them on the instruction sheet as well, because this is the end. And there's some things to take a look at as well. But I've already showed you instructions here. 2 pages of exploded views. And it also comes with the Atlas laser pod, laser guide bomb, and there's it at here, the ASMP missile right here. I'll show you that shortly. So, painting instructions for 2 versions. Special anniversary screen on this one here. And standard operational jet. As I stated though, the Mirage 2000Ns were retired, I believe this is 2018 or 2019, replaced by the D, which were upgraded so they can carry the ASMP nuclear missile. Anyway, here's some photo etch. Most of this photo etch will go on the ejection seats. Here are the decals. Protected by paper. They look to be pretty decently in register. Don't look like there's... Yeah, they look to be okay. Decals there. Okay, and here are the sprues here. 2 sprues, 1 extra large sprue. It's been folded over. And of course they, tape the bag shut so they don't flip around. And then here's the second sprue here. As you can see, the 2-seat fuselage. There's the cockpit, okay? And as you noticed, no raised detail. Flat cockpit. A couple raised areas to where maybe the throttle and some other things would be, but nothing that you can, try and weather, try to weather anything like that. I'm pretty sure on the decals here. Let me see here, because I think it's all decals for the cockpit. Yep, decal. Yep, no, I don't see any photo etch for the cockpit itself, just for the ejection seat. So it's all decals. So there it is for the cockpit here. There's one of the control panels again. A couple of sunken areas for screens and stuff like that. But there's the other one, same thing. Sunken areas, but nothing raised, so nothing you can actually dry brush and weather. Here's part of the tail. It goes right here, of course. Your ejection seats, they don't look too bad. Yeah, they look pretty good for ejection seats. Parts of the the ASMP missile right here. Here's the other parts here. Here's the laser guide bomb right here. The Atlas laser designation pod. Here's the other sprue here. Long-range fuel tanks. It looks like 4 different noses. There's 2 of them running loose in here. So you have this one. There's the other nose. There's another nose here, and another nose there. I didn't expect to be so many versions, but it might be indicative that they're going to release this in other Mirage 2000 versions. If so, probably another C version, definitely the D version, and possibly Mirage 2000-5 and Mirage 2000-9. Burner ring. There's the main landing wheels. You can see it's got a lot of tread detail on it. 550 missiles, Mica missiles, but as you can see, no 530 missiles for the single seat Mirages and the wing detail. Okay, now again, as we mentioned earlier on, I know you can't see this right here, but remember that I told you about the faint riveting detail on the Modelsvit kit on the wings here that you can barely see. This kit has the same thing. It's got the same type of riveting detail. It's a little bit more defined than on the Modelsvit kit. So when you paint this over, you might actually get more detail out of it. But standard engraved panel lines, which are good, nice, very delicate, not too thick. The inside of the burner cans. But the hinges are molded on the kit, which means you can only mold, and the elevators are molded on the opposite side as well. So you cannot position these for landing. You got your intakes here. And these are the Mica missiles. I think one of these was short shot. I can't see what the error would be, but there's a reason why they provided extra ones. Either a short shot or just not properly done. So anyway, that's it with this one right here. So okay, and then of course this right here. This is a 3D printed item. It's for the cockpit. I believe there's like a separation panel between the pilot and the radar operator. So this is the 3D part for it. Comes as an own little protective deal. So now with this, the Mirage 2000N that's come out. Now, as I stated earlier on, Modelsvit is going to release his Mirage 2000D kit. Now, I suspect that this will probably be most, if not all, the sprues for the Mirage 2000D. It does have the laser guided bombs. It does have the Atlas laser designation pod. So I suspect that if this gets re-released as the D, there's probably not going to be too much of a variance of the parts in the kit. They'll probably just straight release what's in this here, and it just label the box Mirage 2000 Mirage 2000D. With Modelsvit releasing their kit, well, their plans, there's going to have a pair of laser guide bombs. It's going to have the Atlas pod along with it. It's going to have the micro missiles. Plus, on top of that, they are going to issue the Scalp missile, which in the UK service is known as Storm Shadow. They're going to have a Scalp missile along with the kit. So that gives you an extra goodie with the Modelsvit kit when it comes out. Now, the real comparison is actually going to be between these two kits. This one and the Modelsvit kit. Why? Well, these two kits put the Heller kit and the Italeri kit to shame. I hate to say it. Now, it's not to say that if you want to build the Italeri kit and Heller kit, you shouldn't do it. You build whatever you want. But when it comes to the detail, when it comes to stuff like the weapons and all that, when it comes to accurate panel lines, when it comes to not having to fool with raised panel lines, well, you got these two kits here. So the real race is between these two here, the Modelsvit and the Dream Model. Here's what I think. Now, I've already got experience, as I stated, with the Italeri kit and the Heller kit. They're quick put togethers, not very well detailed in the cockpit. Some of the areas, raised detail with the Heller kit, recessed panel lines, some of which are wrong with the Italeri kit. But there are, aftermarket you can get for both of the kits out there. I know there's a lot of Edward aftermarket for the Italeri kit. And of course you can get a resin ejection seat and all this other fun stuff. If you want to go that route, it's with you. So it's not a major issue. But when you're going with stuff that's just going in the box here, well, we're looking at 21st century technology in these two boxes when it comes to the detail, when it comes to accuracy, and in some cases, when it comes to the Modelsvit kit, well, with the Mirage 2000C, there's some things I would have liked to have seen in the kit because it had Greek Air Force markings. I would have loved to see an Exocet missile with the pylons in it. Now, for some reason why, they're the only model kit that came out, Mirage 2000 model kit that came out with the Exocet missiles with the pylons is the old monogram kit in 48 scale. So hopefully, I've been looking online. I haven't been able to find anybody that makes the pylons for Mirage 2000s for the Exocet missile. There are Exocet missiles all over the place. That's not an issue. It's finding the proper pylons for it. So, but anyway, the Modelsvit kit, what does it have over the Dream Model kit? Well, you can position the flaps down. Okay. It's got better weapons, better choice of weapons. A lot of the antennas and stuff like that are photo etch. So those are the main advantages over the Dream Model kit. Plus, you can mold it with the cockpit open. The cockpit is much more detailed in the Modelsvit kit than it is with the Dream Model kit. So you have that as well. What does the Dream Model kit have over the Modelsvit kit? Well, to be honest, not much of anything if I can think of. And the thing about it there too is that when it comes to price between these two, the Modelsvit kit, if I remember correctly, ran me about somewhere around $40 US without shipping. So we're talking about $50 per kit $45-50 per kit. The Dream Model kit, believe it or not, it actually costs roughly the same amount. The thing about the Modelsvit kit, though, is that Modelsvit kit you can actually get at numerous places. You can get the Modelsvit kit on their own website. There are plenty of eBay shops that sell this as well, most in Europe. There's one guy, Rebel Alpha, also runs Dauntless. He does get Modelsvit kits every once in a while. So if he gets a hold of the Mirage 2000Ds from Modelsvit, he's probably going to be selling them on a site probably in a matter of months. So the Modelsvit kit is actually easier to get a hold of. The Dream Model kit, I haven't seen very many retailers in the U.S. And the thing with Dream Model is that they've released a good number of kits, mostly for the Asian market. You can get them online on eBay. This is not the only kit they have. They've done the F5 series, the F5E, and the F5F model kits. They've done the SA-365 helicopter, known as the Dolphin. Mostly Chinese service, known as the Z9. They've done a few other kits I can't remember right off the top of my head, but the thing that I've seen with the Dream Model kits is the cockpits are not very well detailed. They seem to have gone the same route that other manufacturers, like I've seen it with Trumpeter and Hobby Boss, to where the exterior of the kit is excellent and nice, but they didn't put a lot of detail inside the cockpit because they kind of figured, well, what the heck, we'll just throw decals in it and call it good. They did the same thing with Dream Model. So what do I think? Well, I'm going to tell you, Modelsvit kit is the top of the ladder here because of the detail. Now, as I stated early on, you will have to have some experience putting this together. There's a lot of parts. Plus, as I stated, you got parts for the inside of the main wheelbase, which you have to do some folding and stuff like that with plastic parts. So you'll have to be kind of careful with that because if you handle them too rough, you might actually snap the part. So you have that. So you do need to have some experience with model kits to put the Modelsvit kit together. But the detail, especially when it comes to the cockpit, it's, in my opinion, pretty outstanding for 72nd scale. But again, it does take more work to get that accomplishment done. So the Modelsvit kit has a better cockpit than the Dream Model does. You can reposition the flaps. The Dream Model kit, you cannot do that. If it is true what they're planning on putting out, the Mirage 2000D kit, it has a better weapons option than the Dream Model kit. But if you go with the Dream Model kit, you're not really going very wrong. If you're not too worried about the cockpit, then that's something you probably won't have to worry about. Just throw the decals on and call it good. But I would consider this, since I've built it, I love the detail in it. I think it's great. I would probably give this, and with the errors when it came with construction, with the mislabeling of some of the parts as compared to the instruction sheet, and the fact that they could have done a little bit more with this kit because, well, you got Greek markings, and you can find Greek Mirage 2000C or 2000 EGs flying around with Exocet missiles. It would have been nice, at least at a minimum, put the pylons in the kit. I mean, you don't necessarily have to put the missiles in there because the missiles are rather easy to get hold of. But the pylons are hard to get hold of, and I haven't been able to find a very clear picture of the Exocet pylons for the Greek Mirages. So it would have been nice if they were actually able to throw that in there. But then again, it's not a major loss. Again, a personal thing for me. But the Modelsvit kit, I would give it probably an 8.5. Um, the Dream Model kit, being that the again, cockpit not very detailed, but then again, personal issue with me. Um, Not as much choice when it comes to weapons. Although it seems like it's probably going to be the Mirage 2000D kit if they ever release it and rebox it. I'm going to give it an 8. The other issue I have there too is, the instructions, the explosive use. So you have to translate a little bit further. You have to be more careful knowing where parts are going to go at, because, with the standard instruction sheet that comes in models these days, um, it's much more, booklet like, where it tells you where everything goes. It makes it much more simpler. These are smaller explosive views, so there might be a little bit more issue with it. Um, the options as well. There's only 2 marking options in this, but you can find other decals for the Mirage 2000 online, so it's not a big issue. So I would give this an 8. So, and then, we're talking about, we're swinging around here. We're talking about, the 2 Italeri kits here. I just threw the Mirage 2000D in here because, I thought it looked pretty cool for the moment here. So, Mirage 2000. Italeri here. I'm going to give these a 6. And actually, the Mirage 2000C probably be a 6.5. I mean, the Mirage 2000D would be a 6.5 because, at least they got, the panel lines, the nose ain't screwed up with the panel lines. The Mirage 2000C, somebody just wasn't on their aim game today, as I stated, with the panel lines. And you see with the picture in front there too, you don't see panel lines on the damn nose. No election panels or anything like that. But they molded it on the kit. So I don't know who was asleep at the day. Somebody needs to get slapped in the back of the head. But this technology is pretty much done for. I mean, it's been overshadowed by other kits I've talked about here too, and that also would go for the Heller kit. Now if you want to build these, go for it. That's up to you. That's not it's not a big issue. But if you're looking for something more detailed, then you have to go higher. You will have to pay a higher price. That's well known. I do not know. I believe the Italeri kits, when they got released last time around, I think they were going for close to 25 to 30 bucks each, I believe. It's been a while since I bought an Italeri kit, so and of course the Aeromaster kit. As I stated, Heller released their Mirage 2000C kit earlier this year, but mostly in the European market. So I can't tell you what the price would be for that. You can find secondhand Heller Mirages online for $5 or $10. And it's the same thing with the Italeri kits here too. You can actually find them for cheaper prices on places like eBay and Facebook and some of the vendor sites and the auctions and stuff like that. You might be able to score these for much cheaper than 20 bucks or something like that. But I would give the Italeri kit, I'd give this a 6. I would give this a 6.5. And I would give this a 6 as well. So, final verdict is the Modelsvit kit is probably the tops. So there you have it there. Pretty much the Mirage 2000 in 72nd scale model kit form. And a shell review took a little over an hour. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the kits there too. As I stated, the Modelsvit kit, the Mirage 2000D, will be released next month. So check your local detailers if you're interested in that kit. Modelsvit website will have them on sale first and all that. The Dream Model kit, your best bet would be eBay. I don't know of any detailer here in the States that sells Dream Model kits. That's if you decide to go that route. Now, again, as I stated, if you want to build the Italeri and Heller kits, then that's your choice. So, um, basically, this is a review. So I'm not going to tell you to not buy something. That would be up to you. I'm just stating my opinion on this. So anyway, there you have it. If you have any questions or complaints or anything like that, go ahead and post them below. Let me know about it. Um, and I'm hoping you guys keep those modeling war faces on. And let's start building. It's winter. We got nothing else better to do. And I'll see you next review.